right. Okay, so this week I've been moving house, as I'm sure you guys know. I'm in a beautiful new place, and I find traveling quite stressful. I won't lie, and I think my digestion always takes a little bit of a hit when I move places. And then I was thinking, actually, kind of the majority of the population, certainly in the West, have some sort of digestive issues. So I thought it would be good to do a yoga class around stimulating this digestive fire, or agni, as they call it in yoga. Kind of stimulating digestion. So that's what we're going to do today. Well, we're going to move through a sequence, and we're going to focus on nice deep breathing, and we're going to kind of use postures to stimulate this digestive health. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start in a seated position. So getting comfortable, sitting maybe onto something to lift the hips. You can sit in however you wish. You just need a tall spine. So I'm going to sit cross-legged, but you can sit however is most comfortable for you. And just doing a few shoulder rolls just to ease the movement into the shoulders there. Using the breath. Breathe in as you draw up, exhale to relax down and back. And one more time. Exhale to relax. Good. Good. Let's take the ear to the shoulder. And then looking over that shoulder. Drawing the chin to the chest, rolling all the way around, ear to the other shoulder. And then looking over that shoulder. And then tucking the chin to the chest, coming forward. And then bringing the head up. So we're sitting nice and tall. We're going to take a few moments in stillness here. So closing the eyes, finding that nice length through the front body. So today, you know, especially when we're doing neutral spine poses, really focus on length through the front of the torso. So this space between the breastbone and the pubic bone expanding. Okay, so relaxing shoulders down, closing the eyes, just taking a few moments to let the breath settle. Arriving onto your mat, not just physically, but mentally as well. Becoming aware of the body in space, how you're feeling in this moment. Letting go of whatever's been going on for you this week so far, and whatever you've got to come. Just becoming present to this moment here. Right here, right now. A smooth, easy breath. And feel the movement of the diaphragm as you breathe in. Diaphragm drops down. Exhale. Diaphragm moves back up and the belly just softens naturally back to the spine. So feel that sensation of not just breathing up into the upper chest and the upper body, but sending the breath into the base of the lungs, diaphragm doing its job. Okay. So gently opening the eyes, we're going to come into a couple of rounds of Kapalabhati breathing, this pranayama technique, the shining skull breathing, where we actively sort of push the exhale out, and then the inhale is passive. Inhale just comes in naturally. So what I want you to do is to find a space in the low belly, about 3 fingers width, kind of between, just lower than the belly button. So 3 fingers lower than the belly button, that low belly area. That's what I want you to focus on, pulling in and up. So you're pulling sort of that low belly back towards the spine, but at the same time, you're sort of sending the energy up. So not down, think kind of drawing it up. Placing one hand on the belly if you wish, shoulders down, starting with a nice tall spine. We're going to do it for about a minute. So as you're ready to, taking a breath into the low belly and starting. So keep going, keeping the facial muscles relaxed, shoulders down and relaxed. And the awareness is very low in the belly. You just gently, or forcefully rather, pulling back on the exhale, and then the inhale just naturally comes in. It's a reflex. So we're not thinking about the inhale, just the exhales. And if you're finding you're running out of breath, then just slow it down. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then come back to the natural breath, resting the hand down. Taking some easy breaths. And then we'll do one more round. So you're welcome to have the hand on the belly if you find that helpful. Keeping the shoulders down, nice tall spine, taking a breath in and starting when you're ready. So I'm doing it quite quickly. You can go slower, you can go faster, whatever, find the rate that feels comfortable for you. Doesn't need to be fast. But feeling the energy coming up through the body, up to the head. You might be feeling a little bit of energy around the sort of skull area, crown of the head. Or even sometimes I find it in the front of the face. Okay, we'll do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relaxing the belly, placing the hand down, just checking in, noticing how you're feeling now. Okay, good. And opening the eyes. So let's come over onto all fours. Pop what you're sitting on to one side and spreading fingers and thumbs. We're going to do a little bit of mobilizing for the spine. And what I want you to concentrate on through the practice today is kind of this one-to-one breathing. So find the ratio that feels good. So maybe 3 counts on the inhale, 3 counts on the exhale, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe less. Find the ratio that feels comfortable for you. But what we want to encourage in this practice today is really smooth, really fluid breath. So same length on the inhale to exhale if you can, that sort of continuous breath. So find your all fours position. And on the next inhale, I'm going to draw the chest forward as we open across the collarbones, arch the spine, and then exhale, round the spine, tuck the pelvis, rounding back into child pose. I want you to come all the way back, maybe bringing big toes together if you find that helpful to sit the bottom back. And then inhale, coming back to all fours, coming back into that arched position. Nice smooth exhale as you round back into child pose, sitting the hips back, rounding the spine, and then inhale, coming forward, tilting the pelvis, arching through, chest comes forward as you come into all fours. Exhale, tuck under, rounding back. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, rounding back. Nice, slow, smooth breath. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, rounding back. Inhale, coming forward. This time, we're going to come forward and we're going to arch, and then we're going to tuck the toes under, feet about hip distance, and exhale, round the spine and lift the knees up into a downward facing dog. And then inhale, we're going to come back into all fours and straight back into that arched position. So through the inhale, coming back into that arched position. Exhale, child pose, round the spine back, sitting the bottom back onto the heels as you exhale. Inhale, drawing the chest forward as you arch, coming back into all fours. Exhale, downward facing dog, rounding the spine, drawing the belly up. Inhale, coming down, arching the spine. Exhale to round child pose. Inhale. Exhale, right, downward facing dog. Good. You can have the feet further back if you want to. Inhale, coming down. Arching the spine. Exhale, child pose. Good. Inhale, arching. And exhale, downward dog. We're going to hold into our downward dog here for a moment. Having the hands as wide apart as feels comfortable. Obviously, want index fingers parallel. And let's pedal out the feet here, just warming up the backs of the legs. Feel as you breathe the kind of hollowing of the belly. So as you sort of send the sit bones up, do bend the knees as much as you want to. Feel like this sort of gentle massaging of the organs as you breathe, hollowing out the belly. Sort of breathing into that diaphragm, but also, yeah, breathing into the diaphragm, feeling how that massages the organs. Take a breath in here and exhale, coming back into all fours. What we're going to do now is we're going to add on the, as they call it in yoga, the Uddiyana Bandha, which is really what we work in Pilates with this abdominal engagement. So abdomen coming back to the spine. That's Uddiyana Bandha. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a breath in here and exhale. We're going to breathe out and we're going to engage abdominals back towards the spine. So belly button engaging to the spine. So we're sending the breath out, and then we're going to tap the toes, holding that empty lungs to come into downward dog. Hold it there. And just feel how that massaging, again, the diaphragm coming up, massaging the internal organs. Take a breath in to come back into all fours. Release the belly. And then again, exhale to tuck the toes under, send the breath out, engage the low belly, and then come back into downward dog. So almost like emptying the lungs of breath and then coming into downward dog. I'm feeling that kind of pushing of the diaphragm up towards the lungs, and then how that massages the abdominal organs. And then again, inhale, coming back into all fours. Let's do that a couple more times. Taking the breath in, belly relaxes. Exhale, pushing the breath out, feeling the abdominals pulling up to the spine, and then coming into downward dog. All at the same time, really, and then holding into that downward dog. Feel this kind of massaging of the internal organs as the diaphragm moves up towards the head. And then inhale, coming down. Let's do it one more time. Belly releases, exhale, drawing the belly up to the spine, engaging the low belly, and then pushing the air out, and then coming to downward dog, all kind of same time. Holding into it, just feeling that massaging of the internal organs, holding it as long as it's comfortable, and then coming back down to the floor, coming into child pose, and breathe and relax for a moment. Good. Okay, great. So coming back into all fours, spreading fingers and thumbs, and we'll come into downward dog again. So bringing the hands, maybe hands length further forward, relax the shoulders away from the ears, tuck the toes, take a breath in and exhale, lifting the sit bones again up towards the ceiling, finding that length through both sides of the waist. Going to breathe in to take the right leg up to the ceiling, point through the toes, and then exhale, bring the knee into the chest, round the spine, pop it forward. You can use the hand if you wish, bringing it to the front of the mat. Back knee comes down, and you're going to push the foot into the floor to come up to the hands onto the knees, onto that front knee rather, with both hands resting onto the thigh. And slightly drawing the left hip forward, right hip back, slightly tucking under with the pelvis. So drop that tailbone down to the floor. Good. And then if you want to, you can bring the arms up. If you want to, you can tuck the back toes under. You can lift up into a high lunge, more active lunge, but that's up to you either way. You mean cactus arms if you find that better. So if you've got the back knee lifted, take a breath in and exhale, slowly lowering it back down. We're going to come into the prayer twist. I'll show this on the other side so you can see. Knee is going to be just slightly behind so the ankle is going to be slightly heel and slightly in front of the knee. So we've got space to lunge forward. So making sure that we've got, that we're not in our fullest lunge just yet. Right hand on the right hip, let's draw that right hip back. Left hand outside of that right thigh. Breathe in to find length through the spine, and exhale, bending into the knee. We're going to come into a twist. So turning the chest round, you might be happy just staying there, using that straight arm to push against the leg pushes back. If you have the flexibility to come down with the elbow, the upper arm on the outside of that leg, you can bring the hands into prayer. Pushing the hands together and breathing, really feeling how you've got this lovely constriction of the abdominal organs. And coming back to that deep breathing. So don't forget about that smooth, long, deep breathing we're doing here, equal length on the inhale and the exhale. You can tuck the back toes under if you want to lift that back knee, you can. You want to add that engagement of the leg. If you are, make sure the leg is really active, pushing back through the heel. Smooth breaths. Make this the last round. And then exhale, slowly lowering that back knee down. Hands come down to frame this front foot. And we're going to step back into plank pose. You can have the knees down in plank pose if you wish, that's up to you. And then we're going to lower down onto our front, so lowering the knees if you want to, otherwise keeping the knees up, shifting the weight forward, elbows coming into the side of the body, lowering down using the arms, coming all the way down, tops of the feet into the floor. Push that pubic bone down, find length through the whole body. Breathing in and exhale, pushing hands, lifting the chest, drawing the collarbones forward. Maybe lifting a little bit higher on the next inhale. Exhale, coming down, tucking the toes, hands maybe a little bit further back, pushing hands and knees, lift the hips, use the strength of the arms to come into your downward facing dog. Smooth breath, so coming back to that one-to-one breathing. Same on the inhale, same on the exhale. On the next breath in, let's take the left leg up, this time point up and back through the toes. Find that length. Exhale, bring the knee into the chest, round the spine. Pop the foot to the front. You can use the hand if you need to. Popping the back knee down, untucking the toes, pushing the front foot into the floor to place the hands onto the thigh. Let's square the hips. Let's make sure we're not hiking one side of the waist, both sides of the waist the same length, and then sort of squaring the hips to the front. Very welcome to bring the arms up if you wish. You can tuck the toes under and come into a higher lunge. Breathing into it. Very active with the legs, you know, we're kind of pulling them towards one another like a pair of scissors. They're engaged. Good, smooth, easy breaths. One more breath in. Exhale, lowering the back knee down. We're going to come into our twist. So left hand on the left hip, draw that left hip back. Right hand on the outside. Take a breath in to find length. Exhale to come down as we come into that lunge. So the front knee's bending, so it's directly above the heel, and then you're twisting at the same time. So as I said, you can come down to a full prayer twist if you wish to bring the palms together. Open across the collarbones, you know, really shining the collarbones forward to the front of the room so that we're kind of keeping that nice long spine. Back toes can tuck under, and you can lift the back knee if you want to add that on if you did on the other side. Keep pulling this left hip back as you draw the chest forward, and then use the exhale to soften. Long, deep breath here. And then on the next exhale, lowering the back knee down carefully, placing the hands down, back into plank pose. Collarbones shining forward, heels pushing back, thighs lifting and engaging. Smooth, steady breath. And you're very welcome to lower the knees as we lower down onto our belly, otherwise keeping the knees up. Breathe in, reaching forward with the chest. Exhale, elbows coming into the side of the body, lowering down. Tops of the feet into the floor, tuck that tailbone under. Breathing in to find length through the whole body. Exhale to lift, push down through the hands, elbows in. Chest pulling forward, but we're keeping the gaze down. One more breath in to lift. Exhale, lowering down. Tucking the toes, hands maybe a little bit further back. Pushing hands and knees, coming into your downward dog. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Good, everyone. Great, and really engaging the insides of the hands, thumbs, forefingers particularly, but then that rolling external rotation of the upper arms at the same time. Good, okay, take a breath in. Exhale, slowly lowering down, coming into child pose. Taking a pause. Okay, so coming into kneeling position now, we'll tuck the toes under. So we're going to come into a toe stretch. So making sure the toes are equal distance apart, with kind of like just making sure that they're positioned as well as possible, so that when we put weight on them, we're not creating any kind of injury into the toes. Just make sure the alignment is there as much as possible. And then you can sit the bottom onto the heels, or you can stay in a kneeling position, whatever is better for your feet. Interlace the fingers, breathe in to come up with the arms, relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Keep the arms as far back as possible. Opening through the chest, breathing smoothly. Send the breath into the toes. And then release the arms down. Stay where you are on your seat. Swap the cross of the arms, other thumb on top, breathe in to come up. Exhale, release shoulders down. Maybe closing the eyes and just focusing on that tightness and letting any gripping release there into the toes. See if we can soften any tightness. Good. Okay, one more breath. And exhale, release, placing the hands forward, coming off your seat, tapping the toes out, giving them a bit of a release there. And then you can either stay in kneeling for this, or you can sit the bottom onto the heels if that's comfortable. Take the hands back, interlacing the hands, roll the shoulders back, opening through the chest. If you find that holding elbows is a bit more helpful in taking the shoulders back, you can do that. Or you can hold a strap even, but we're just stretching out here. If you wish to come into kind of an inversion here, you can place the head down, roll onto the, sort of lift the bottom off the heels and roll sort of up so that you're onto the top of the head. And then the same things, that the arms are sort of coming up and over. Take a breath in. And exhale, sitting the bottom onto the heels, releasing the arms. Okay, great. Coming into Dolphin Pose. So we're going to be on our forearms, interlacing the fingers and thumbs and having elbows underneath the shoulders. We're going to tuck the toes under, take a breath in, and exhale. We're going to push down through the forearms as we lift the hips and drop the chest down. So the chest is sort of going towards the feet. And you're going to walk the feet in maybe a little bit to see how close you want to come in with the feet. You want to push the heels down. I'm finding I can never really get the heels to the floor in this pose, and that's fine. The point is to get a nice long spine, to drop the chest down, to feel the work, arms pushing into the floor, shoulders engaging, thighs back. You can always bend the knees as well. That's absolutely fine. Feel the low belly kind of, again, drawing up and back, feeling that massaging of the organs. Take another breath in. Exhale, slowly coming down, releasing the toes, resting the hips back. Child pose. Take a pause. Okay, so coming up into all fours again, we're going to pivot the right leg out to the side, and we're going to extend that left leg long, so the foot is in line with the knee, in line with the hand. We're going to take a side stretch. Breathe in, take the arm up. Exhale, arm comes over. Finding maximum length through the top side of the body. So reach arm away and then push the foot away as well, and feel that opposite stretch through the body. Relaxing the shoulders, maybe turning the chest a little bit more up towards the ceiling, maybe even glancing up. Feeling that lovely stretch. All into the lower abdomen as well. And then you're going to push yourself up. And we'll take the stretch the other way. Breathe in, reaching tall. Exhale, coming over. Try not to sit the hips back too much here. We really want to bring the pelvis slightly into a tucked position, really, to find that kind of, so we're not overarching into the lower back. Good. And then coming down. And then we'll do the other side. So bring the knee in, other legs can extend out, hand underneath, wrist underneath the shoulder, knee, foot all in one line. Breathing in to take the arm up. Exhale, arm comes over, and we'll make this really active like we did on the other side. So pushing the foot down as you reach up and over with the arm, and coming back to that smooth breath. Slightly tucking under with the pelvis, reaching through the arm. Turning the chest up. Maybe even glancing up. Okay, take a breath in. Exhale, push into the floor with the knee and the foot as you sweep up, reach up. Exhale, coming over. Again, just make sure that there's slight tucking under of the pelvis so we're not overarching. Good, everyone. Yeah, great. Okay, take a breath in. Exhale, coming back. We're going to transition back into all fours. I'm going to step back into plank pose. We're going to hold our plank here. And I grabbed my charger. I just suddenly realized my phone might die of battery. So holding your plank, either half plank with knees down or full plank with knees up. A little bit of trial and error here in the new studio. Okay, good. And then you're going to lower down onto your belly. So then you can lower the knees first if you need to. Coming down onto your front. Good, okay. So we're going to come into crocodile pose here, resting the hands underneath the forehead, legs out wide, about the width of the mat, and letting the belly relax. Feeling the pressure of the belly into the floor here in this pose. Good. So we're going to bring the legs in now, and we're going to reach the arms back. I'm going to come into locust pose. So nice length forward to the crown of the head, back to the toes. Find that sense of extension in opposite directions. Take a breath in, ground that pubic bone down, and then exhale, lifting head and chest and arms. If you want to lift the thighs, you can, no pressure. And then you could turn the thumbs out and up to the ceiling, palms facing away, so that you take the shoulders back away from the ears. You slide the shoulder blades together. You know you're going the right way with the hands, because one way is rolling the shoulders in, but we want the way that rolls the shoulders out. Keep pushing down through the pubic bone more. Keep lifting the rib cage away from the floor. See how much more height you can get. Keep looking down to the mat. Take another breath in, lifting maybe a little bit higher. Exhale, release. Head comes to one side. Shimmy shake pelvis side to side. And I'm going to do that one more time with the bind. So if you've got a strap and you know that it's useful to have a strap behind you, please do grab one. It can be really helpful to open the chest. So some of us can be quite tight in the front of the chest. If that's you, please having the hands about shoulder width apart with the strap. Otherwise, binding fingers and thumbs, extending the body nice and long. Remember to ground that pubic bone down, so slight tucking under of the pelvis. Take a breath in to start. And exhale, lifting head, chest, arms, coming up. Maybe if you want to lift the thighs, you can, but reaching back through the toes, forward through the crown of the head. And coming back to that one-to-one breathing, smooth breaths in, smooth breaths out. Great, lovely. See how much height you can get. The next inhale. Feel the whole back body engaging, and then exhale, release. Release the arms, release the body, head turns to the other side. Good, enjoying this moment of rest. All right, so we'll place the hands alongside the rib cage And we'll transition up into Uttanasana, standing forward bend. So we'll push hands and knees, really use the arms, lift the hips with the rest of the body to come back up and lift the knees, and then walk the hands back towards the feet, folding over the legs. You can soften the knees here, shifting the weight forward so that you're over the balls of the feet. And then you can hold the elbows, you can let the arms hang down, whatever works. Maybe taking the head side to side, just loosening the neck. Forward and back with the head. Smooth breaths in, smooth breaths out. And I'm going to release the arms here, and we're going to scoot the feet in towards each other. So big toes touching, heels a little bit apart. We're going to come up into chair pose. So we're going to bend the knees quite strongly, knees together. As I said, big toes together, knees together. Breathe in to bring the arms forward as you lift the chest, sitting the hips back, finding that long neutral spine. So that sense of length through the spine. Hands can be in cactus pose if you prefer, up to you. Keep breathing. Keep sitting back. You want to be able to see most of the feet here. Take another breath in. And exhale, pushing the feet down as you lift up, hands into prayer, closing the eyes. Just noticing how the body feels coming out of the pose. All right, so we're going to do that again. We're going to add a twist. So big toes staying together, heels maybe an inch apart, not too far apart, just an inch. Breathing in to bring the arms up overhead, and exhale, sitting the hips back, squeeze those knees and the thighs engaged, coming into the chair, and then bring the hands into prayer. You can take one elbow outside, so maybe left elbow on the outside of that right thigh to twist. If that feels too tricky to get the elbow on the outside, just have the arms straight and do the twist this way. So turning, same thing, you're turning the chest up to the ceiling. And again, we're connecting to that long, smooth, slow, steady breath. One-to-one breathing, lengthen those exhales. Make sure the knees are staying the same level, so one's not coming forward of the other one. Okay, and then push down through the feet, lifting up neutral spine, coming up to standing. Take a pause here. And then we'll do the other side, breathing in to bring the arms up. Exhale, sitting the hips back. Make sure the spine is long and lengthened. We're not rounding too much here. Palms together if you wish to do the prayer twist, really sort of making your way over as far as you can, and then pushing the arm against the leg to twist, glancing up. If that feels too much, having the arms straight. You don't need to come down with the elbow against the outside if that feels too much. But focus, I'll just demonstrate. So focus on the spine nice and long, rather than rounding and collapsing in the lower back. I want you to avoid any arching. I want you to sort of lengthen the sit bones away, tailbone back. Okay, take another breath in. And exhale, push down through the feet, releasing up, strong legs. Closing the eyes, hands into prayer at the center of the chest. Letting the breath smooth out. Okay, and opening the eyes. So we're going to come into eagle pose. With eagle, I tend to offer the option of having a block with the foot resting on the block. You can use a stack of books. You don't have to have one if you don't need it. So the left foot, we're going to have the block on the outside of the left foot if you are using some sort of prop there. And we'll take the weight over onto that left foot. I'm going to bring the left arm up. Right arm's going to come underneath, and you're going to kind of get the elbows as wide apart as possible. So hands on the back to kind of work them apart, and then to bind the arms, palms together, or backs and the hands together. And if neither of those options feel possible, just hands on the back. Okay, so shifting the weight over onto that left foot, we're going to lift this right leg high. I want you to find a focus with the eyes for the balance. So steady gaze, and then wrapping the leg as high over the other thigh as you can. Ball of the foot can come onto the block if that's where you're at, or you can tuck the foot behind the other leg. I want you to lift the elbows and then relax the shoulders down as you sit the hips back, very similar to the pose we've just done, very similar to chair pose. We're sitting the hips back like we've got a low stool behind us. And we're binding the legs, we're lifting the elbows, we're smoothing out the breath. Feel the movement of the diaphragm. Taking another breath in. And exhale, push down through the standing foot to straighten up. And then release the arms, shaking out. If you use the block, feel free to have the foot on the other foot. So we're doing right foot now, so having the block the other way around, or getting rid of it if you don't need it. Okay, so right arm comes up, left arm underneath, using hands at the back, maybe even the hands there, or if you want to bind the arms, palms together, or backs of the hands together, but feeling that kind of constriction of energy there. Taking the weight onto that right foot, lifting the left leg up, binding it over, ball of the foot or foot behind. Feel the constriction in the legs, the constriction in the arms, sitting the hips back to find that low stool behind you as you lift the elbows. Find a focus with the eyes, something still to rest the gaze on. Holding it there. Good, everyone. Yeah. Long spine, sitting the hips back, a little bit more each time. Good. Great. Take another breath in. Exhale, push down through the foot to come back up, releasing arms and legs. Good. Shaking the shoulders, shaking the body out, maybe rolling the shoulders a few times. Okay, good. So if you used a prop, popping it to one side, let's take a nice wide stance. Pigeon toe, the back toes in, and this left leg we're going to turn out. So it's parallel to the end of the mat. Heel to heel or heel to arch in alignment. Let's steady, sort of level the hips out is what I mean. So engaging the thighs, breathing in to bring the arms into the chest. Exhale, taking the arms apart. Gazing past the front fingertips, back foot rooting into the floor. Dropping down with the tailbone and coming back to this slow, steady breath. Making sure we've got this tuck under the tailbone if you need that. So avoiding any arching, collapsing the lower back, bring the lower ribs in. Keeping the power in that back foot, rooting down, but both feet really. Pulling up with the inner arches of both feet. Take a breath in. Exhale, straightening the front leg. Come into triangle pose. If you want a shorter stance, if you want to bring the back foot in slightly, you can. Engage kneecaps and thighs. We're going to breathe in to reach forward. Exhale, coming down with the hand as you open up and turn the chest. So you're very welcome to stay here in this traditional triangle. If you want to take the top arm behind the body and bind so fingertips onto the thigh or into the hip crease, if that feels possible for you, it can sometimes help you to turn more. So you're gripping and you're sort of rotating the spine more up to the ceiling. You can also just have the hand at the lower back. That also works if you're finding in that binding doesn't work for you. Engaging the thighs, pulling kneecaps and thighs up, back foot engaged. You want length not only in the top side of the waist, but also the bottom side of the waist, drawing it back more. The hip on that side. Take another breath in. Exhale, push down through the feet as you release the arms coming up. And we'll do the other side. So turning the toes in, turning this right foot out, back toes in. We want a quite wide stance for warrior two. Breathing in to bring the arms in. Exhale to come into your warrior two. Reaching fingertips apart, making sure the torso is directly above the pelvis. So we don't want to reach forward. We want to make sure we're staying upright. Dropping into the front knee, keeping it wide. Back foot is engaged. Good. Yeah, Claire, a little bit of a tuck of under the pelvis. Bring the lower ribs in. So that kind of countering of the arching that can happen, especially for more sort of flexible people. Good. Take a breath in. Exhale, pushing the feet down, straightening the front leg. You're very welcome to bring the back foot in more to shorten the stance. Keep the legs engaged. Breathe in to reach forward and take this top hip with us as you come down with the arm, opening out. Exhale. Root down through both feet, especially that back foot. And then if you want to, take the top arm behind, using the fingers sort of into that hip crease or the top of the thigh, or the hand in the lower back. Opening the chest and turning the turning the spine, gazing upwards. Slight tuck of the chin if you're looking up. Take another breath in. Exhale, push down through the feet, release the arm, coming up. Great. Turning the toes in. We're going to come into a forward bend for Uttanasana. So hands to the hips, breathing in to lift the chest. Exhale to hinge forward. If you want a block, grabbing a block under the hands, otherwise hands on the floor. Folding forward. Letting the weight of the head drop down towards the floor. Coming back to that one-to-one breathing, smooth breaths in, smooth breaths out. And then we'll take a breath in and exhale, hands on the hips, coming up with a straight spine, coming back up to standing. And then we're going to do a little bit of a flow here. So we're going to take the arms out. We're going to keep the legs engaged and we're going to turn the chest to face the left leg. So we're going to rotate and then we're going to reach down with that right hand, either resting onto the outside of the foot onto the mat, or using a block or bending this right knee slightly. Inhale, we're going to come back up to standing. And we're going to do that again, same side. Exhale, turn, rotate the spine, reach down, maybe glancing up as you reach up with the other arm. Inhale, coming back up. You're going to do it about 5 times. Reaching on the inhale. Oh, sorry, on the exhale. Inhale, coming up. Exhale. Twisting first, then reaching. Like I said, you can bend this knee. Inhale. This time we're going to hold into it. Exhale to rotate, reaching down. So as I said, you can have the hand on a block, you can have the hand on the floor, you can bend this right knee a little bit, reach up with the other arm and glancing up if that feels okay for your neck. Draw this right hip back. So both hips drawing back. You find that one hip is sort of drawing in a little bit, pull it back more, get more length along the sides of both sides of the waist. So we've got a lovely sense of length through the spine. Engaging the legs, twisting. And then on the next inhale, we'll push down through the feet, coming up. So strong legs here. Yeah, good. Let's go the other way. Breathing. Taking a breath in to prepare. Exhale to twist, reaching down. You can have a block if you need it. Turning the glancing up and then coming back up. Inhale. Exhale, rotate, reaching down. Inhale, coming up. So really strong legs here. You know, the legs are working to support the movement. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, turning, reaching. And then again, breathing in. We'll do it one more time. Turning first and then reaching down. Leg can be a bit bent. You can have the hand on the block if you want to. You can hold into it this time. Reaching the other arm up, glancing up, drawing both hips back equally. So we're getting this length through not just the right side of the waist, but also the left side. Oh, sorry, no, not just the left side, but the right side as well. So right hip drawing back. Good. Glancing up if that's okay for your neck. Take another breath in. And exhale, push down through the feet, coming up with control, bringing the arms down. Okay, fantastic. So scoot the feet in one by one, feet hip distance. And then we're going to, let's just breathe in to bring the arms up, lifting the heels. Exhale, arms come out to the side as you lower the heels. We'll do that 2 more times, breathing in, lifting the heels. Exhale, coming out and down. And then again, breathing in. Exhale, coming out and down. And bringing the right arm behind the body, interlacing fingers on that left side, just releasing the ear to the shoulder. So we're releasing left ear to left shoulder, getting a stretch all the way down the side of the neck into the shoulder, even as we draw that opposite shoulder away and down. Tucking the chin in, looking down to the foot. And releasing the head up. We'll go the other side, other thumb on top, ear to the shoulder. Drawing the tops of the shoulders back, so opening across the collarbones. Breathing smoothly. And then tucking the chin in to look down to the foot. And then releasing, bringing the head up. Releasing the arms, rolling the shoulders a few times. Hands to the thighs, bending the knees. Let's just do a little bit of standing cat-cow where we round and arch the spine. You can have as much bend in the knees as you need. Okay, good. Arching the spine now. Push down through the feet, coming up to standing. Feet hip distance. Let's roll down. Take a breath in. Exhale, tucking the chin, soften the knees, rolling one vertebra at a time. Coming back into that forward bend. You can let the arms hang down or hold up. Letting the body sway side to side. If that feels good. Nice long exhalations. And then bending the knees, coming down to the floor. Making your way down. We're going to do a pose now to stimulate the digestion. I really like this one. I haven't taught it before in these online classes, but bring the knees together, feet together. So we're sitting onto the heels and have a go. Just see how it works for you. If it's, maybe just see. If it feels too much, then just stop. Take the right hand into a fist. So we've got the thumb on top, and you're going to find that space below the sternum, which might feel a little bit tender. Pushing the fist gently into that, and then placing the other hand on top of that fist. And then you'll kind of be able to play with this as we come into it and readjust. But coming forward so that the weight of the thigh, so the thighs are sort of pushing into the hand and resting the head down onto the floor. And what you should be getting here is what might be feeling like a little bit of a tender spot, like just below the sternum, just below the breastbone, where you can kind of just push into. And it's a great way to stimulate the kind of really pushing in directly to the stomach and the spleen here. You might be feeling kind of like a gentle throbbing, maybe. I definitely get that in this pose. Avoid if you feel like it's not comfortable for you, if it's not the pose for you, that's fine, just coming out. But if you're happy to stay there and you've got that kind of sweet spot where you're feeling, might be a bit tender, but you might be feeling some stimulation there, just staying for another few breaths. And then we'll release the body up, sitting the bottom onto the heels, or in whatever way is comfortable for a moment, just closing the eyes. Breathing normally. Noticing any effects from that practice, that pose. Okay, so gently opening the eyes, and then we'll transition down onto our back. So at this point, I would say grab whatever you need for warmth, socks, jumpers, get yourself nice and toasty, and we'll start to come down onto our backs. So do layer up, the body will cool down pretty quickly. We're going to do a little bit on our backs first. So if you've got blankets, eye pillows, just having them nearby, easy to grab. And you will probably, we're going to have an inversion. So grabbing hold of a block if you've got it, or a couple of, books or a couple of cushions, whatever you want to stack underneath the hips. Bolsters work as well. So having that nearby, anything you need for Shavasana, and coming onto your back. We'll come into hugging the knees. And then happy baby pose. So bringing the knees wide so that the knees are sort of towards the armpits, and the feet are coming up, flexing the feet. You can hold the feet, you can hold the big toes, whatever you want to grab, or you can hold the legs, either way. You want to try and sort of ground the sacrum into the floor a little bit. So you want to avoid tilting too much with the pelvis up away from the floor. The feeling of grounding there. This is also known as wind relieving pose in yoga, for a very good reason. So a few breaths here. And then we'll release the feet down. And we'll come into bridge pose. So feet onto the floor, feet, knees, hips in line. We're going to do a few roll ups, roll downs, take a breath in. Exhale, rolling through the spine, pushing the feet into the floor, knees about hip distance as you come up, and then rolling down again, one vertebra at a time, all the way down through the spine, back into neutral. Exhale, tucking under, rolling up. Inhale, coming down. Exhale, rolling up. Pushing the feet into the floor, lifting the hips. Inhale, coming down. And then we're going to make this the last one. So rolling up, holding it there. If you want to, you can hold the sides of the mat, pull the mat apart to scooch the shoulder blades under. If you can bind underneath with the fingers interlaced, you can go for that. Lifting the hips. Keeping the knees in line with the hips. Releasing the arms now, take a breath in. Exhale, rolling down, one vertebra at a time. Let's grab hold of whatever we've got for our inversion. So if you're using a block or a couple of cushions, whatever you want to raise the hips up, you can also come into a shoulder stand here. If that's part of your practice, shoulder stand, go for it. Otherwise, resting sacrum onto your prop, so not lower back, further down than that, so it's under the sacrum. And then maybe bringing the legs up, maybe into a bent position, or straightening the legs all the way up. So you can use as much height as you want. You can come higher up onto a block if you want to come onto even a sort of deeper inversion. Finding whatever lift feels appropriate for you. And legs up or bending knees. Taking that inversion so that we've got this lovely venal return coming back to the heart, down through the legs. Circulation coming back to the heart. Stimulating the blood and the lymph flow. And releasing stagnation that can sometimes reside down in the feet and the legs. And then we'll start to bend the knees if you've got the legs straight, placing the feet one by one on the floor. Lifting the hips and releasing the prop from underneath. Resting the hips down onto the floor just for a moment. Just letting the spine resettle. And then we're going to bring the right knee into the chest and extend the left leg long. And we're going to flex that left foot. And then we're going to place the left hand around the outside of this right leg. And we're going to draw it across for a twist. So for this variation of a twist, you can extend the other arm out, but keeping the lengthened leg flexed, the foot flexed on that leg, so the leg's active, and then you're just drawing the knee over as much as feels comfortable, but you're kind of, it's not so much of a relaxing, like floppy twist. We're kind of engaging both feet here a little bit. And then what I want you to do is this top hip, I want you to try and draw it away from the ribs. So drawing the hip towards the opposite end of the room more to find more length in the side of the waist here. And then for those who want to straighten the leg, have the flexibility, you can hold the right foot with the left hand as you extend that leg straight, but no pressure to do that if that's not feeling for you today. Just a couple of breaths here. And then we'll release. Coming back to center, placing the foot down, bending the other knee. And then we'll draw that left knee in, hugging the knee in, right leg is going to extend, flexing the right foot. And then the right hand is going to come on the outside of this left leg as you twist, left arm's going to extend out, flexing the feet. You want to keep the opposite shoulder down. So just taking the leg over as far as is comfortable. And then again, dropping this top hip away from the ribs. So taking it towards the end of the room so that you've got more space between the left ribs and the left hip. And then you can straighten the leg out. If you did on the other side, you're very welcome to take that variation. Breathing deeply. And then slowly starting to release from your twist. And then placing the foot down and coming into Shavasana. So set yourself up, getting whatever props you need. Maybe bolster under the knees, cushion, whatever you want to grab to be comfortable in your relaxation. Getting blankets, eye pillows, whatever you need to be comfortable. So we've done a lot of things in this practice to stimulate the digestion, abdominal engagement to stimulate the abdominal organs, holding poses, twists, great for massaging the abdominal organs, as well as this deep breathing that we've been doing through the practice. But lying here in your relaxation and just allowing the breath to be relaxed, and focusing on this gentle rise and fall, this natural rise and fall of the belly with the breath, is also really conducive to relaxation. No effort here. Allow the body to be completely held by the floor beneath you. Letting go of arms, legs, letting the shoulders relax, letting the weight of the pelvis rest deeply, heavily into the floor. And the same with the weight of the head. Release the neck muscles, releasing the jaw, release around the eyes, smoothing out the forehead. And slowly starting to invite deeper breath, wiggling fingers and toes, taking a stretch, hugging the knees into the chest as you're ready to, taking your time to roll over onto one side and come up to a seated position. Keeping the eyes closed or the gaze lowered. Coming to find a stillness again. Placing one hand onto the chest, one hand onto the belly. Feeling the movement of the breath. The movement of the heart. Knowing that you can come back to this slow, steady, smooth breathing at any point through the day that you need to. Bringing the palms together into prayer. We'll take a breath in here through the nose. Exhaling with a gentle sigh out through the mouth. Namaste.